Hi, how are you? So, listen, I was thinking, I have a few theories, and I've talked about them before, right? I mean, there's some I'm not going to talk about right now. I'll probably talk about when we go through the Old Testament again, because my theories on that happened we read that so long ago, so it's not worth bringing it up right now because I I don't exactly know how to put it into words either. So we're not even going to go there. But I did take notes. Kind of took notes. I just wrote down things I was thinking about. And I mean, there is more also, but I couldn't remember it. And I was watching the Lori Vallow trial, right? Her defense team was bringing up God and all that. God has nothing to do with that. That lady was greedy as fuck, and she was mad because she was about to get kicked out of the temple because that Charles Vallow was about to like blow the lid off all her shit. So she killed him. I don't know about the kids. Don't come after me. I don't know about the kids. I think that had to do with the other guy, Chad, and her brother, and something about zombies. I don't know. I'm not into all that. I just want to read Das Bible. And I'm accidentally learning shit, you know? So I don't have nothing to do with that. And that's why Dustin told me to quit calling myself Pretend Prophet, because that weirdo shit ass happened. So I quit doing that yesterday. Yesterday was the first day. So now that we're done with that. But that's where these thoughts came from. I was watching the Lori Vallow trial. And I was thinking about like the praying. I God, God, I pray for something, 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 right? And then you expect God to give you something, something, something. But you gotta do something. Like if you think about Abe, Isaac, Jake, Joe, like all those guys, they did shit. God helped them do shit. God was David's hype man. Like, for real. God wanted to fight with David. He only fought for David one time. He really only fought for any of the main characters one time when he wanted to. It wasn't they were like, oh, fight this battle. God was like, nah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Just chill out. Just watch me. Right? That's what he did. But all the other times he was helping them. Right? And they didn't even pray for it. They just knew it. They was like, God's the hype man. Oh, we do a good job. Right? That's pretty much what happened. So that whole teach a man to pray for a fish, blah, blah, crap. Teach a man to learn to fish or teach a man to fish, blah, 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 crap. Why can't it be teach a dude to pray for what he's going for? Why does everybody say, pray, pray? Do you know what you're praying for? You're praying for God to fix it. God's not going to fix it. You got to pray for the help to fix it. You know, be like, hey, big guy, be my hype man. I need some fucking encouragement. That's what I need to pray for. I need to pray for encouragement. I need to vacuum. Do you see? I need to vacuum. I always forget, but yeah, I should probably vacuum. I got a lot of stuff all over my floor. Anyway, so, and then, like, you're praying for God to help you fish, right? Hey, God, give me some fish, right? God should give you some fish, right? But according to Jesus, you need to say, hey, big guy, listen, can you and Jesus give me some fish? Something like that. And then the other thing is spiritual bones on your spiritual armor. This morning, I said, God wants to make sure you're 100%. So be ready, right? Don't get ready. Don't get ready for God to fuck you up. Be ready for God to fuck you up. Because if you're going for Jesus, if you're like, Jesus, be my friend. No, he's not going to make that shit easy. He's hard to get, right? So in the Old Testament, in the beginning, I like maybe Deuteronomy, I Leviticus, maybe. I don't know, it's one of the Torah, okay? But it talks about spiritual bones. What are the bones? Like they're the foundation for your fat, right? So okay, muscle, but mostly fat and muscle, whatever, fat. So that's what your bones are. They're the foundation to your skin flap. So, like spiritual bones, get your foundation, right? Get ready for the fat of faith. Faith fat. Get ready for the fat of faith. Actually, Dick, you're right. It would be muscle. Get ready for some faith muscle, right? But once you get all the faith muscle and you get your spiritual bones, your spiritual skeleton, then you get your spiritual armor. And what is armor for? Armor is for going to battle. So you get these things and you go and fight your spiritual warfare. So really, what you need to do all throughout the Bible, gain wisdom and knowledge, understanding. And then you get your spiritual bones, and then your spiritual armor, and then you go fight. So you got to be 100% sure. And Jesus says that later on. He says, you got to know, right? You got to be ready because there's a war in heaven and it's come down here, right? That's what he said. So, and I'm guessing it's maybe because God thought we've been doing this thing for so long, we already have spiritual bones. But I don't know if Really, it's God logic, so I have no idea if that's what he was thinking. Or maybe he did it on purpose. He's like, okay, I'm going to test you, motherfuckers, and see what's up. Because if you remember at the end of the Old Testament, he told the Jews, no, I'm not fucking around with you no more. I'm not. We're done. I'm finding somebody else. And he found the Gentiles. He found us, white people, right? So I don't know. And then we go to the rules, okay? The rules. They're spread throughout 5 books. All through the Torah is nothing but rules, okay? And if, follow me, if you think about it, God gave Moses 2 tablets, and he wrote the 10 Commandments on the 2 stone tablets, 5 on one, 5 on the other. And if you think about how their alphabet was at the time, it was all big blocky letters. You weren't going to get 5 books of rules on there. And then later on, they find 2 big boulders. And they wrote the 10 Commandments on them. Okay. Listen, at this time they already had a bazillion fucking rules. And we're supposed to believe that they wrote those bazillion fucking rules on 2 stone boulders and then covered them in lime. What do you think? It was the 10 Commandments they wrote on these 2 stone boulders and covered them in lime. The 10 Commandments. The original rules. The actual only rules. All the other shit is made up. So what do you think God cares about a girl on her period in church? He just wants people in church. And then, like, a lot of that, I said, a lot of those rules, it looks like somebody saw something that somebody in charge was doing, and then that person in charge decided to make it a rule not to do that. What do you think? Or somebody had too many women and they were all on their period at one time in church and mad at this one dude. So he's like, no more girls on their period at church because it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know. Jews are like that. I mean, they're just fucking like that, man. Look at the American justice system, right? They take a law and then make all these caveats to that law. It's like, bitch, go somewhere. It's just so these legislators don't get in trouble, which also is against the Constitution. They're not allowed to do that. Just saying. Anyway, there was that. And I think other than this book being a layout of how these people are, Jews, I think really the underlining moral of the story is endurance. Because think about it, like, yeah, endurance is just now come in the Bible, but think about it, everything is a fucking riddle. But think about all the characters in the Old Testament. What was the thing they did more than anything else? They endured. And then they prayed once the endurance got too much. And they were like, we can't handle this. Then God was like, okay. So that's what it seems like. And then God holds a grudge for a really long time. Like a really fucking long time, God holds a grudge. And then just decides after a while to be like, oh, okay, your father's fucked up. Yeah, fuck you. I don't know. But it seems like the Bible is kind of all about endurance. From the time God kicks you out of your house until the time you die, it's all about enduring, right? That's why in the beginning of the Bible it says, have spiritual bones, get strong spiritually, and then put on your armor and go into battle and have God as your hype man. And then we get to Jesus, right? Like the actual things that it seems like Jesus might be about. I don't want to do the preachy thing or the psychoanalyzing thing, but I mean, feel free in the comments of whatever social media you're watching this on, and please tell me, what do you think? And I know maybe, I mean, because some people really do say things to me sometimes. Like, oh, Jesus is fake and this and that. Ah, listen, everybody needs hope. Whatever God you believe in that because you want hope. Okay? So maybe I want hope. I want to know what the fuck is going on. Like, who knows what's going to happen at the end of this? Nobody knows what's going to happen. But everybody needs something. And everything is being taken from me. I gotta have something, you know? So I have these fucking videos. And that's just my thoughts on it. And Jesus, right? I One of the first things Jesus talks about, and no, it's not one of the first things. It's not. But it's the thing that stands out to me the most. Salt of the earth. You are the salt of the earth. To me, that means you, right? And if salt is useless, it gets thrown out. Somebody said the salt that is useless becomes stuff they throw in the snow, like we throw salt. So that's like a one time use thing. So if you lose your flavor, you're going to be one use. So I would think about that. I don't want to be useful one time. So anyway, so he's like, you are the salt. You be yourself, right? And think about the 12 disciples. It doesn't say anything about they changed or they became different people. Because no, they did not become different people. Peter was still retarded. And I do need to shut up. I do need to quit saying that. You're absolutely right, Dick. I need to quit saying that. Peter was only half retarded. Is that better? Anyway. Listen. It doesn't say they changed or became any different, right? Because Judas at the end of the day was still Judas, and Peter is still Peter. They were still themselves, but they had Jesus as an example, as kind of a disadvantage for us and more of an advantage for them because they got to see him in person and pretend in person. We don't have that luxury. We can only pretend to our inner voice, and our inner voice ain't having that shit. Just like Jesus wouldn't have that shit either if they decided to be fake. You know? If they were any different than they were, do you think Jesus would have hung out with them? I don't think so. I don't think so. And Jesus was not fake. Can you remember a time where Jesus was fake? Jesus was not fake, right? He wasn't fake. So I think that's an example. Also, don't be fake. And like everything he said it with his chest. So with your chest. And that's what he did. He said it with his chest, right? He was like, fuck all these guys. So even Jesus, as an example, right, was himself. He gave no shits. You're supposed to give no shits. But apparently people in your circle, right? I don't know, and that's the other thing. like like Jesus always, like when he was talking and saying it with his chest, he knew what the fuck he was talking about. That's why everybody was so mad at him, because he wasn't lying to them, right? And the church is like, oh no, no control. Because Jesus gave no shits about these people. He said, fuck these guys, right? But then he's like, you gotta love people like that. Kill them with kindness. But then he's like, you gotta hate everybody to be my friend. But love people. Follow the 10 Commandments and then the commandment I gave you. Love people. But then hate everybody. But also wash das feet, right? Wash das feet of your whoever your friend, right? Wash your friend's feet because I wash my friend's feet. But do you think that means something more than it means? Because, like, the feet wet, that's the lowest part of a person. Wash das feet. What does that mean, right? Like, when a person's at their lowest, wash them. No. When somebody's at their lowest, cleanse them. But how? What does that even mean? Like, cleanse them. How? What do you mean? Just talk to them until they're better, make them better, carry their load, which I am so guilty of doing this to somebody. I put all my shit on her, and I didn't mean to. I couldn't handle it. And she broke. And I didn't mean to. But is it something like that? Like, carry somebody, carry somebody's load. That's a Blue October song. Ever carry the weight of another for how long? Yeah, that's Blue October. That's a pretty good song. But is that what that means? Relieve them. Washing feet, what does that do? Washing your feet, it relieves you. It takes all your body weight off of your feet. Oh, is that what that means? Oh, listen, see, I told you we accidentally learn shit a lot. Mm. But, and then, okay, so these examples that Jesus has given us, right? What love and hate people who love people who hate you. Oh, it's so confusing. Anyway, the letters, most of them are written by Paul, right? Who's taking teachings from Peter. And the Catholic Church comes out of the teachings of Peter. And the Catholic Church does everything anti Jesus. So it's like, if we read these letters, right, these letters are not anything that Jesus ever said. It's coming through the eyes, the lips, and the perspective of another who turned aside his zealousness. I get it, right? And he was trying to do the right thing. I get it. But none of it is Jesus. And then people study these books like it's from Jesus. No, it's not. Jesus told you what to do. Do the right thing and make sure you know what the fuck you're talking about. And make sure you're able. It just make sure you can endure until the glorious end, right? But I don't know. I don't know. I know that we have to read the letters. I know that. But I don't want to. But you know what? You know what? We are. We are going to do it because I like a lot of these guys' stories are in there. So we're going to read it. But we also have to remember none of this actually came from Jesus. It came from a bastardization of Jesus. And I call it a bastardization because the Catholic Church, like most of the Catholic Church comes from these teachings. And if you read the Old Testament, you would see that the Catholic Church is a bastard. But anyway, I believe that was it this time. Oh, somebody just left their house, or Dustin just left work. Something happened. Anyway, that was it. So, thank you for watching. Wait, something happened. Okay. Thank you for watching. I love you and have the greatest day ever. Oh, do your chores. Yep, do your chores.